everybody, Z Garcia here, and welcome back to another Dice Tower review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the latest in the Marvel Villainous line of games. This is Twisted Ambitions, which is a game you can play standalone with 2 or 3 players, or more than likely you're going to use it as an expansion to Marvel Villainous, which has had already a couple of expansions, this being the 3rd expansion for this. All mix and match, giving you more characters. And here you are going to get 3 new characters. You're going to get, of course, Doctor Octopus. You also get Titania. And you're also going to get Kang the Conqueror in here. So I'm going to show you not how the game works, but an overview, a quick look at these 3 characters, what their pieces look like, kind of what their idea, their how to win looks like, and give you an idea of if I think this is a good game, both on its own or as an expansion to the original game. And I'm probably focusing more on that, to be honest, because I think most people are using it that way, to expand this and maybe some of the other sets that they have for Marvel Villainous. Let's take a look at it. So here we've got the 3 heroes that come in the pack. We've got Doctor Octopus, Kang the Conqueror, and Titania. And I'm going to be showing you a little bit of how they work, okay? The idea, what they are trying to do. So Doctor Octopus over here, and they of course all come with their own little villain guide, is trying to complete schemes. Those schemes are things you have to achieve. And so you achieve enough of those by making things happen, by seeing things happen, you win the game. So pretty straightforward. You've got your deck over here with allies and items and effects and what have you, but then also schemes like this one. During your turn, if you have an ally in your domain, you may play the Master Planner, which is this card here. Remove that ally, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. If you reveal 2 or more allies, you complete the scheme. So that's one way to complete that one, and they're all going to be a little bit different. Master of Atomic Power over here. During your turn, if there's at least 1 item at each of your locations and no heroes in your domain, you may play this and complete this scheme. So pretty straightforward. He is going to have these schemes come up in different orders every time you play, so you need to adjust what you are doing in order to get these things finished. And they're not too nasty, they're not too punishing, there's not a lot of rigmarole you have to go through in order to achieve what he's trying to do, which I like. One of the things I like in this game is when a villain is easy to understand. You know what you're supposed to do, there's not a lot of crazy tokens and things and strangeness that you have to jump through, or too many steps. Do this to then achieve this, to then do that, to then do that in order to win. I think Doctor Octopus here is a great one to play first. If you're just learning the game, he is an easy one to get into, to understand, and the fact that those things are going to come up in a different order every game changes what you are doing. So it's very dynamic playing Doctor Octopus. We have Kang the Conqueror over here second, and he definitely falls into the camp of there's some weird stuff going on. He's a little trickier. He's a little weirder, okay? So his thing is conquering other players' domains. So here it is. You have to conquer 4 locations in other players' areas. And the way you do that is by having Kang variants show up there and conquering them, i.e. fighting and defeating them before that player does it themselves, in which case it doesn't count. You'll also have variants show up on your board in front of you here, but that is not going to count. If you have any variants show up on your own area here, in your own locations, defeating them helps you because you get rid of them, but that doesn't count as conquering one. So conquer 4 of these places and you win. The problem with him, and the reason why he's easily 3rd out of these 3 for me, is that the way it works is you have to take 4 cards here, which are the 4 variants in the game, and every player shuffles these into their own deck. So Doctor Octopus here would have to take these cards, shuffle them in here, like this, and then whenever they show up, then he is going to have to play it to his domain, and then he draws another card. You see them coming, which I just don't like that mechanism at all. And Kang has a bunch of abilities to force players to, like, shuffle your hand into your deck and then draw 5 cards again. So you need to make sure you're not looking at the deck, or that everything is sleeved in the same color so that you can see stuff coming. I don't like that as a general rule of thumb. Pretty much in any card game, when you're shuffling cards in that don't match, and you have to do that whole, let me look at the ceiling while I'm shuffling, make sure that, oh, look at that, or I would have see that, and somebody goes for another shuffle. Again, I don't like that mechanism. And then he's got a little bit of that rigmarole, like I was saying, where you have to worry about where things end up. You need to use his little tokens, which are in here. When you defeat one in somebody else's area, then you can go in there and leave one of these tokens there. You can, with some cards, travel to that location and take those actions that are printed in that region. So he's a little trickier. He's got some weirdness going on, and it's just less clean of a design. Still not as nasty and as convoluted, I'm going to say, as some of the other characters that came, say, in the original Marvel Villainous, but easily my least favorite of these three. And then lastly, we've got Titania over here, whose mover behaves like an ally, like a character, with a strength tracker over here. And the idea is to level up the strength tracker all the way up to empowered and then beat She-Hulk, okay? Whenever you defeat a hero in front of you, somebody bothering you, if Titania is there, then she is going to level up as long as that character was at least as tough or tougher than she is. Which means you need to couple yourself with allies, beat that character as a team, and then you can level up your strength. And this has a little tracker over here that you're going to put on her card, which is a little bit of a pain. I don't really love this kind of component in games, you know, where you have a plastic piece damaging a cardboard piece. But you're moving this up a little bit here, basically tracking your strength. And as you get up, it gets harder for you to be still leveling up. Though there are ways around that. And immediately, you think, oh yeah, hold on. So if she needs people to defeat, I'm just not going to send people over there. Well, a big part of her deck is to draw these heroes to herself so that she can defeat them. She brings them out. She steals them from other people. She pumps them up in power so that they count as being at least as strong as her, so that when she defeats them, she can move up the strength tracker. And then when she becomes empowered and gets all the way up to 8, she's going to go find She-Hulk and bring her over. So again, very straightforward generally, with a really neat idea where her mover is able to fight and defeat some heroes where she is. So here's her board there, and the general idea being, like I said. So here are the movers for everybody. We've got Titania with a very cool spiky mover there. Very important where this is, because again, she can fight there. We've got Kang the Conqueror over here in that lovely blue. And then we've got Doctor Octopus, which is 4 of his arms there sort of coiled together, which is also a very cool piece. So there we go. I'm not going to go into the hero cards, any of those that you shuffle up and get played against you. I just wanted to give you a feeling for how these work and just some general thoughts on the expansion, or I guess standalone also, as a whole. So there you go, folks. Let's go ahead and go back up top. So I've already gone ahead and spoiled my ranking for these 3 characters in the overview there. But let me drive that point home and explain why I feel that way. So in the original Villainous here, some of the characters, Thanos definitely being one of them, are just a little too complicated for me personally. I find them to be unnecessarily so. They require you to jump through hoops to achieve how to win, where some other ones just feel a little breezier, make the game feel lighter because you understand what you're trying to do. You get it. You don't have to organize or sequence all these things that might not be going your way in order to even get close to a win. And I feel like 2 of these 3 characters in Twisted Ambitions here managed to be on the right side of that line for me. Doctor Octopus is really, really fun. It's enjoyable to complete these schemes. It's easy to grasp. You understand what it is you are doing. You are digging through your deck, finding the right moment. And once you have one, you go, okay, I need to put items everywhere. I need to clear baddies. Your opponent might start to see that if they've played enough and they know what you ideally do, They might start to see you're clearing baddies, putting out items. Okay, I can try to jump on that. Because getting to 5 is pretty easy if they leave you alone, okay? So I really enjoy that play style that he brings to the table. Titania would be second, like I said, and it's a bit of a drop, but she's also pretty straightforward. I like that she can bring, you know, the heroes to herself. Otherwise, people could just leave you alone. It would tank your game. But it works really well. She's not a character I personally find very enthralling, but the play of her in this game is solid and, again, fits with the complexity, so to speak, of some of the better ones in the Villainous core box here. And then farther down, somewhere, not quite as far down as Thanos for me, but somewhere down there then would be Kang the Conqueror. I just don't like a couple of the things he does. I find them clunky. I find them visually unpleasing. I just don't like his play as much. So if you're buying only this because you don't have any of this Villainous stuff, you play with 3 players in here, you have to use Kang the Conqueror, and you might not like that. You have to use all 3 of these. This is a 2 or 3 player game, okay? Which is fine for the player count. I prefer it at those player counts, but then you're stuck using these. I think most people are going to own Villainous and be interested in what this looks like as an expansion. And as an expansion, I would recommend it, okay? If you already enjoy Marvel Villainous, you want some variety with the characters, I think you're getting a good mix here of fun powers, fun play styles, and easily digestible paths to victory, right? With at least 2 of these being straightforward and clean and fun to play. Getting beefier and beefier as Titania, that's fun. Getting those schemes done, that's fun. The one I'm not so hot on then would be Kang the Conqueror, all right? So that's where my score is going to come at today. For me, as an expansion, I think this is pretty fun, and I would certainly recommend it. You know, if you were looking to just expand the roster, this is a good way to do that. Throw in some fun characters that you might have, you know, a connection with, and expand the possibilities for when you throw down the game. As a standalone purchase, I would say get this. You know, if you want to try the game out, get this one. It's got more characters in there. You're going to have more possibilities, and then you can discover the things you like. Maybe you like a character that's more complicated. So in that case, you might enjoy Kang the Conqueror. But for me, I'm going to come in at a 7 on this one. I think it's solid. It's a good expansion to the core game. If you know you like it already, I think you're not going to go wrong with this one, all right? So a 7 from me. That's a seal of approval for Twisted Ambitions. I have to look at it every time. Twisted Ambitions here for Marvel Villainous. That's going to do it, folks. Thanks very much for watching. My name is Z Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.